we will be reading the 18th juz of the Holy Quran, inshallah. And the 18th juz, it starts off with Surah Al-Mu'minun. Now, Surah Mu'minun, Allah Ta'ala says, the believers are successful, or the believers are prosperous. That's what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says here. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives a few qualities of who a believer is. Allah Ta'ala says, number one, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who are humble in bowing in their prayer. Those who do their prayers. How we read our salah, that is a sign of a true believer. Sometimes we find it is now tarawih, whether it is the fard salah, whether it is the sunan, whether it's on nawafil. Now, sometimes we find on WhatsApp a video clip, Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah, how are we reading salah? The greatest thief, it is that person who steals from salah. We go into ruku, we're not even properly into ruku, and we back up. And then we are not even standing, Sami Allah, Allahu Akbar, and we're going down. To stand up, Liman Hamida, Rabbana lakal hamd. It's a fard, it's wajib in salah. Then to go down, to sit between the two sajdas. You have to sit. Salah. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. You know, the Prophet ﷺ also said that salah will be taken like a dirty cloth and thrown back at people. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe be to those people who stand in salah, they read their salah lazily. They read their salah haphazardly. So here Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, one of the signs of a believer to become successful, it is one who is humble in bowing in prayer. When he reads salah with khushu'. Successful, as I mentioned, it is not like the success of this world where we say the car that you drive or the house that you live in or how much money you have made, I'm a very successful person. Success in the eyes of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and in the eyes of a Muslim, whether I go to Jannah or not. Whether I die with the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on my lips or not. That is success. Allah Ta'ala says further, and those who do not pay heed to idle and useless talk. Idle and useless talk. Some people, we just get a kick out of sitting and listening to nonsense. Listening to riba. Have you heard about this one? Have you heard about that one? Of just making jokes out of everything that happens. They can never listen. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes, sometimes the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did make jokes as well. But his whole life was not just merrymaking. His whole life was not just playing around. When there was a time for that, there was a time for it. But here Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, and who do not pay heed to idle and useless talk. If somebody is talking nonsense, he walks away from them. Allah Ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاتِهِمْ فَاعِلُونَ. And those people who pay their zakat, those people who pay their charity, they are from amongst the people who are قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Those people who are successful. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says in the 5th ayah, and those who guard their modesty, those who guard their private parts, those who do not commit adultery, save from their wives and the ownership of the right hand. In those days, obviously, there was slavery, but not today. but from those whom you are legally married to. This refers to males and to females. Does not only say to your wives, but it means to your husband as well. There is no blame on them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, again, and those who are observant of their trust and their covenants. That is the sign of a Muslim. That is the sign of a mu'min. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. When somebody gives you a trust, you look after that trust. When you make a promise to somebody, you fulfill that promise. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. That is the sign of a Muslim. When he's given a trust, he does not breach that trust. When he makes a promise, he does not break that promise. Ayat number 9, Allah Ta'ala says, and those who are heedful of their prayers. And those again, Allah Ta'ala says, who are mindful of their salah. When the Prophet ﷺ was on his deathbed, salah, salah, salah. The Prophet ﷺ walked to salah, he fell unconscious, made wudu, went for salah, became unconscious, made wudu, went for salah. No matter what, we will read our salah. If you are sick, read your salah. If you are traveling, read your salah. The first thing to be reckoned for on the day of Qiyamah will be salah. If it is good, all other actions will be good. If it is bad, all other actions will be bad. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And then they are the inheritors. What will they inherit? Allah ta'ala says, who shall inherit the gardens of cool shadows, and they shall dwell therein forever. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. When you get Jannah, we mentioned this 3-4 days ago as well. When you ask for Jannah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't just ask for Jannah, but ask for Firdaus. Firdaus is the highest place in Jannah. The highest place in Jannah. That is what you ask for. So those people who are mindful in their salah, when we talk about mindful of their salah again, you know, sometimes we are mindful of our salah, but we are not mindful of other people who are in salah. How we come to the masjid is also an indictment upon us. It's also, it tells us something about us. Sometimes I come to the masjid and I have got a whole lot of writing on the back of my t-shirt. So the person who is standing behind me is reading an entire newspaper on the back. So I am taking that person's concentration. I am the cause of that person's concentration being taken away from salah. So he's not reading salah with khushu'. Maybe I come to salah and I come to salah with a short t-shirt. So that when I go into ruku, my jeans goes a little down, my trouser goes a little down, my t-shirt goes a little up, and my awrah is exposed. And once my awrah is exposed, then I'm causing a problem for somebody else as well. So be very, very careful how we come to salah as well. Do not cause an inconvenience to another person. I have smoked and then I stand next to somebody, causing an inconvenience. Eating onion, eating garlic, playing sport, my body odor, the sweat, and I cause an inconvenience. Be very, very careful. So once we have got these things, the qualities of a mu'min, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that verily they are the inheritors of Jannah. So when we ask for Jannah, we ask for Jannatul Firdaus. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, after that mentions signs of a disbeliever. The disbelievers, for example, Allah ta'ala gives the story of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam's tribe. What happened to Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam's tribe? The nations that have been destroyed. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us so many blessings. So many blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. And we are not even worthy of these blessings. We are not even worthy. Again, here we have got COVID-19. Allah ta'ala save us all. Save us all from the sickness, from the disease, from the virus. We are breathing so easily. In, out. In, out. It is second nature. We are not even thinking about breathing. But as soon as that virus comes into us, then we need a respirator to breathe. We need a respirator to breathe. As soon as Allah Ta'ala grant us shifa, we are discharged from hospital. If you were not in a government hospital, you were in a private hospital, your bill comes along and then we get palpitations again in breathing. What bill is there for the respirator? And here Allah Ta'ala is giving it us for free. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala wants us to be people of Iman, wants us to be people of Taqwa. And here we are in the month of Ramadan. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may learn Taqwa, so that you may learn self-restraint. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala further in Surah Mu'minun speaks again, mentions more signs of a believer, that those who have a magnificence and an awe about Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. When they look at Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when they think about Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when they worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, they worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and with all they worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also speaks about those people who have got firmness in faith, those people firmness in Iman, that they again will be the successful ones. Further, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala speaks about the disbelievers. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given two primary characteristics of a disbeliever. Two primary characteristics. Number one, it is those who are arrogant. Those who are arrogant. Whenever a prophet came to a people, whether it was from Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Hazrat Shu'aib alayhi salatu wasalam, the people of Madian, what happened? They were crying and they were proud people. We cannot give up what our forefathers did. We cannot give up. We found our forefathers worshipping idols. That is why we are worshipping idols as well. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says those people who are proud and those people who are arrogant, that was the first characteristic of a disbeliever. Number two, they are wasteful of the time. They are wasteful of time until the time comes about. Until what time comes about? Until the angel of death stands in front of them and the angel of death is ready to take their souls away. And then what do they say to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Please send us back, even if it is for a moment. Just that we can say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Remember we said that the covenant in the beginning of the month of Ramadan, the covenant that was taken, and how the kuffar will wish. They wish that they were Muslims in the battle of Badr when they saw the help of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala coming. Or they will wish that they were people of Iman. They believed in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala when the angel of death is taking their soul. Or they will wish when there will be people with Iman being sent to Jahannam. But after some time they will be taken out. They will wish that they had Iman. So they will say, oh Allah, please send us back to this dunya, even if it is just for a little while, just for a moment, so that we can say, La ilaha illallah. Allah Ta'ala will say, Kalla, you had your turn. You had your turn. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala speaks about the trumpet, how it will be blown, and it will herald in the day of judgment. It will herald in the day of judgment. When we talk about the trumpet being blown, this dunya, very briefly, quickly, how Qiyamah will come along. This dunya is only spinning because somebody is mentioning the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single second of the day, the sun is rising somewhere, the sun is setting somewhere. So the Fajr Adhan, the Maghrib Adhan is being given somewhere. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allah's name is being mentioned. Allah's name is being mentioned every single given moment. That is why this dunya is being kept alive. Before, when the sun rises in the west and then sets again, doors of Tawbah will be closed. The people of Iman will be taken away from this world. The people of Iman will be taken away. Some narrations go, they will wake up in the morning with a little pimple under their in their armpits, and that pimple will grow bigger, and because of a fever, the people of Iman will be taken. Wallahu a'lam. Then when the time comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell Israfil to blow the trumpet. When the trumpet has been blown, everything will crumble. Mountains will start popping up like cotton puffs. The earth will explode. The universe will implode upon itself because of the sound of the trumpet. Everything will come to an end. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask, who is left? To the angel of death. We say, oh Allah, me, you, Jibreel, angels and the jinnat. Allah ta'ala will say, take the jinnat. All the jinnat will be taken. Allah ta'ala knowing will ask, who is left? Oh Allah, only me, yourself, oh Allah, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, the angels. Allah ta'ala will say, take all the angels like him. Once that is done, Allah ta'ala will ask, who is left? He will say, oh Allah, only me, you and Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah ta'ala will tell Malakul Maut, tell Jibreel the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Allah Ta'ala, Malakul Maut will go and take the soul of Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah Ta'ala will ask angel of death, who is left? The angel of death will say, oh Allah, only me and your glory, oh Allah, your glorious self. Allah Ta'ala will tell Malakul Maut, turn upon yourself and take your own soul. Malakul Maut will say, when I take my soul, if I knew the agony of taking out a life, wallahi, I would never ever have taken out anybody's life. I would never ever have taken out anybody's soul. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, Limanil mulkul yawm, to who does today belong? And Allah ta'ala will wait for an answer, and there will be nobody to give an answer. Again Allah ta'ala will ask, Limanil mulkul yawm, to who does today belong? And there will be absolutely no answer. And a third time Allah Ta'ala will ask, Limanil mulkul yawm. Then Allah Ta'ala will give the answer himself, Lillahi al-wahid al-qahhar. Today belongs to Allah, who is the most powerful. Maliki yawmiddin, master of the day of judgment. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Further on in Surah, then we came to Surah Nur. Surah Nur, Allah Ta'ala speaks about the laws of adultery, the zani and the zaniya, what their punishment is. Also, as I said again, the reason why Surah Nur was revealed. The people started accusing Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha wa na'udhu billah of committing adultery. Committing adultery, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the ayats of Surah Nur to free Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha from the laws of adultery. Those who have brought the slander are a band of you. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Do not reckon it evil for you, rather it is good for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, upon every man, for them it is such that he has earned. This is to free Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. It is ayat number 11. And again, in Qasasul Quran, read Tafseer ibn Kathir. Go and find out why Surah Nur was revealed. There are people till today who will speak bad about Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha wa na'udhu billah. She is one of the mothers of the mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Nur has cleared Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. She is one of our mothers, one of the blessed wives of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How can people go about and speak bad of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha? Also in Surah Nur, Allah Ta'ala speaks about li'an. What is li'an? Li'an is when one spouse accuses another spouse of committing adultery. My husband is sleeping around. Wa na'udhu billah, Allah Ta'ala save us. My wife is sleeping around. How does the laws of li'an come along? If you have got proof, the husband will say in front of the judge, Wallahi, I know that my wife is sleeping. I've got proof, this, that, and what. Takes a qasam by Allah. And the fifth time he comes along, he says, I swear by Allah that I'm speaking the truth. And if I am lying, may the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon me. Allah Ta'ala says, ayat number 7, and the fifth time, that the curse of God should be upon him if he is of the liars. And the wife will say, Wallahi, I am speaking the truth. I am not committing adultery. The one who's being accused, I am not committing adultery. I am not committing adultery. And if I am speaking lies, may the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon me if I am lying. If the wife accuses the husband will say, Wallahi, I am speaking the truth, I am not committing adultery. And if I am lying, may the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon me. That is the laws of li'an. Then further on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about etiquette. Etiquette, just before we come to the end. What etiquette is there for our children? You know, sometimes we bring our children up. We teach them everything, how to talk, how to greet, how to stand, how to eat, all these things. But Islam has given us an Islamic etiquette how to eat. Not to eat with a knife and fork, to eat with your hands. Eat with 3 fingers. Bismillah wa ala barakatillah. Clean your plate. But we would rather teach our children how to eat with a knife and fork. Islam teaches us how to drink water. Drink in 3 sips. Don't stand and drink. Islam teaches us etiquette of sleeping. Islam teaches us the etiquette of going to the bathroom. They're putting on your clothes, putting on your shoes, leaving the masjid. Simple things. Allahumma inni as'aluka min fadlik. Oh Allah, we are asking for your fadl when we go outside. We spoke about libasul taqwa, the clothes of piety. When you wear a new garment, oh Allah, whatever evil is in this jersey that I'm wearing, it's new. Save me from this jersey. Everybody must see. It is a branded name. It's not a branded name. See here, see there. That's getting pride. And we mentioned it. One of the signs of a disbeliever is pride. And oh Allah, whatever good is in this jersey, give it to me. It's keeping me warm, oh Allah. Please give it to me. So even the etiquette of children coming into our rooms, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about that. Allah, O believers, let those whom your right hands own, that means the helps, and those amongst you who have not yet reached the border of wisdom, puberty, that means our children, youngsters, our young children, let them ask leave of you 3 times. When they come into your bedroom, teach them from when they are children to take permission when they come into your bedroom. Sometimes our bedrooms are open for all and sundry. Sometimes we go to people's homes and we just walk through houses. We go into everybody's bedroom and we just start opening drawers to see what's happening. Opening cupboards to see what dresses we got. No, not at all. If you open something without permission, you are stealing. You are stealing with your eye, you get the sin of stealing. If you look into somebody's home without permission, it is like entering his home without permission. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those children who have not yet reached the age of understanding, those who understand, you will tell them obviously that they will understand they are not supposed to come into your room. They must take permission 3 times. On 3 occasions they must ask your permission. Number 1, before Fajr. Before Fajr, they must seek permission before coming to your room. Sometimes it comes to a situation, you know, children sometimes they get scared, so it doesn't mean it is haram for them to come in. If you are going to be intimate with one another, then you know it's going to be before Fajr, then lock the door. Why leave the door open? Why? Leave the door open. Lock the door. Sometimes we leave the door open, children run in, and then we get a shock. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, before the Fajr prayer, the dawn prayer, and when you put off your garments at noon prayer, noon sometimes in the afternoon when you make qaylula in the afternoon, sometimes it is hot in your own bedroom, maybe you are sleeping with a short trouser, maybe you're sleeping with a short nightie. Let them take permission before they come into your room. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and when you go to bed at night after the Isha prayer, let them take permission. If you take permission and they come into your room, by all means, let them knock on the door and let them come. Apart, Allah ta'ala says, from these times, you do go about one to the other. That's fine. The children can go in and out of your room, absolutely fine. Thus does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open before you the facts, the things, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing and all wise. There are so many ayat in the Holy Quran where the Quran teaches us how to go about things. That is why I always say Islam, it is not a religion. Islam is a way of life. Islam teaches you everything from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed at night. Islam teaches us everything. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks again, and when your boys reach the border of wisdom, purity, they should take permission in the same way as those who took permission when they were young. When your children become baligh, your teenage sons and daughters, they must also take permission. If the mother is in the room alone, the boys can't just walk in. If the father is in the room, they can't just walk in. Take permission in the same way at these times. Before Fajr, in the afternoon when you are making qaylula, and after Isha when you go to bed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear to His verses. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions. And the last ayat we're going to do today is the respect that we show to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make not, ayat number 63 of Surah Nur, make not, understand not, the calling of your messenger amongst yourselves like your calling of one another. La tarfa'u. There's another ayat that comes, right? But here it comes along. So what happened? Many a time people used to address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially the Bedouin. They used to address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam like they used to address anybody else. So they said, Allah Ta'ala says, make not the calling of the messenger amongst yourselves like the calling of one another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows those of you who slip away covertly. So let those people who do against His command fear lest the disaster should befall them. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. La tarfa sawta fawqa sawti nabi. One day somebody comes walking into Medina looking for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad. Screams. Where is Muhammad? This is the most beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. not only the most beloved, the highest of all creation, and you come in and you just scream? Don't do that. You will take the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with honor. You will take it with respect. When you address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the Prophet of Allah. Even if you, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not say, Ya Muhammad. Allah ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nabi, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, Ya ayyuhal muddathir. Lovingly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even we address the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam very lovingly. That is why, if I am with a beard, and I am keeping a beard because of a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and somebody comes along and mocks me and jeers me, you are wearing a beard. Please brothers, be very, very careful. Please sisters, be very, very careful. You are not mocking me. You are not mocking my beard. You are mocking the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If somebody is wearing his trousers, nisfu saqain, between the ankles and the knees, because it is a sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ wore it that way, don't mock and jeer him, lest you are mocking and jeering the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So always, when we hear the name Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, send peace and salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send peace and salutations 10 times upon us, inshallah. Shukran wa ma alayna illa al-balagh, wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع الجد منك الجد. اللهم إنا نسألك من كل خير محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من كل شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. قال الله تبارك وتعالى: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Brothers and sisters, we have got approximately 8 minutes before we break our fast. 7 minutes actually before we break our fast. Let's spend it in dua, dhikrullah, tilawa. Please let's not waste any time. Dua for breaking the fast. Allahumma laka sumtu wa ala jazakallah.